right, so obviously with this tournament coming up, what's the switch inside the locker room? What are some things that you guys looked at maybe the past couple weeks that you're looking to get right for this tournament?
It's just getting back to playing our type of ball. Not worrying about any outside factors anymore. Just show them to the ballpark, doing what we need to do, doing our 1/9, and just getting back to what we do best, and that's being brothers and just playing ball how we know. So, yeah.
Gotcha. And with just one more for me, this new format, what does
Yep.
that provide you guys challenge-wise as players?
You know, we're just there to win games. I mean, the players, we're not really worried about the format. You just got to show up to Omaha and win game one, and then once you win game one, win game two, and you just keep moving on. So the players, we're not really too concerned about the new format. It's not really something that we think about a whole lot. We just got to show up and do our jobs. So, yeah.
All good. Thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
I asked Coach Heller what was clicking for you, and he said everything. Is that the way it feels for you when you're on the mound? That just like you feel like everything's going right for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big mental piece. Part of it, is just having confidence in myself again. Just out there trying to have fun. And if you're out there having fun and you're in a good mental spot, things are going to go right for you on the mound. So, yeah.
Pretty dramatic improvement in ERA. I know you had a lot more opportunity this year than last year, but he said a mechanical switch up and something with your lead arm helped you kind of get that improvement. Can you walk me through that?
Yeah. So there was more of like a deception piece to it that we tried to work on with my glove arm. So just getting that glove hand a little bit higher to try to fit the window of what my throwing hand was coming through. That's been a big piece, not only for strikes, but just for, getting the hitter a little off balance. So there was some things in my delivery that, they could see pretty well, So that was a big thing that we worked on with this past offseason was the slider strikes, kind of changing the slider a little bit this past summer, and then the other one was the big arm side. It wasn't a big deal, a pretty easy fix, but it's helped a lot. So,
I guess what does it take for a guy who you've been pitching that one way for so long? What does it take to change something about it, even when it's something that doesn't even feel like important to your pitch, where it's your lead arm?
Yeah, it's definitely commitment. It's definitely just kind of like kind of sitting down with the pitching coach and be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. You can't really have too many questions about it because otherwise you're just going to start getting frustrated with yourself when it's not working. So you really just got to scrap whatever you're doing beforehand and just really sell out to what you're doing. So, there's a lot of drills, plyo work, catch play, mound reps, all that stuff, video. So it's just really just coming down to the commitment. If you want to change something, you just got to really commit to it and make sure that you're really diligent about it every day.
Is that something Coach Kenny wanted you to do? Is that like something he brought up early on in working with you?
Yeah, so we started that after my last fall outing. I had a pretty good fall, and then the last outing I got hit around a little bit, and we kind of sat down like, okay, this is probably what we need to do just to add a little bit of a deception piece of it, and just kind of helped the flow of my wind-up and stretch and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was something Kenny brought up to me after the fall.
Where were you at confidence-wise the first time you had to go up in spring with your new deception pitching motion? Where were you at with it?
At the time I was using it in games, I wasn't really it was kind of normal for me. I think at that point I had been repping it out so many times in plyos, practice, catch play, stuff like that I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. So that's a big thing is if you are working on something mechanically, you want to do all that stuff in practice in the bullpen mound. When you get on the mound, you're just there to get the hitter out. So it wasn't big confidence switch for me by that time in the year where I needed to really hone into it on the mound.
And then how screwed would the batters in the NICL have been if you'd been able to have that deception piece when you're at the NH?
Ooh, I mean, would have been good for him, that's for sure.
It already wasn't good when you were coming up to the mound, so how much worse would it have been?
Oh, I don't know how much worse it could have got.